Good afternoon and welcome. I wish you a happy Chuck Sullivan Day, the happiest day at Governor's School East. We gather today to celebrate and honor a very special member of our community, Chuck Sullivan. Welcome Chuck's family and many friends, most especially his sweetheart Kathy, his daughter Sam, his grandson Seamus, and friend Robin Follett, and so many more. Welcome all together. Oh. Welcome Bill Brown, Director of Meredith College Events, representing our host institution, Meredith College. Welcome Tom Winton, Governor's School Coordinator, representing the North Carolina Governor's School and North Carolina Department of Instruction Exceptional Children Division. Welcome Lee Connor, representing the North Carolina Governor's School Foundation. Welcome Will Michaels, representing the North Carolina Governor's School Alumni Association. Welcome Joe Haston, one of our English Tax and former GSE poetry student of Chuck's, who we'll be hearing from in a few minutes. Welcome Mary Neighbor, our Area 1 Coordinator, English and Area 3 instructor, and Chuck's dear friend. Welcome all of Chuck's friends and colleagues here at Governor's School East, and welcome to our current Governor's School East students and our GSE alums. Welcome. Thank you especially to Jim, Eric, and Peter of the Meredith College event staff for your technical and logistical assistance with today's program. Today, we honor and celebrate Chuck, our chosen brother, for the countless ways in which he has supported the student, staff, and vision of the North Carolina Governor's School during his 40 years of teaching poetry, Area 2 and Area 3 at Governor's School East. Chuck embodies and exemplifies the philosophy and mission of Governor's School as he, with passion and compassion, stokes the symbolic Governor's School flame. Chuck serves as the GSE lead English instructor, teaching poetry to 15 to 20 students each summer, also teaching 2 sections of Area 3. He began his tenure at Governor's School East at St. Andrew's College in Laurinburg, and then helped the campus transition to its new home at Meredith College in Raleigh in 2000. Chuck is always intensely interested in the world around him, fully engaged in and actively contributing to the GSE community, attending convocations and cornerstone events after teaching classes. Chuck offers a well-attended weekly poetry reading during which all students and staff are encouraged to share their work. He listens intently as poems are read and asks questions that mentor and encourage the contributing poets. When I first joined GSE in 2012 as a choral music instructor, I learned so much from Chuck, who took me under his wing and taught me what the essence of Governor's School was all about, the richness and vibrancy of a learning community like no other. Chuck was both mentor and friend as he patiently, kindly, and expertly supported me as I learned how to do Governor's School the first summer as I lived across the hall from him. I will never forget one evening I went to Chuck with a question about the poetry in one of the pieces of music I was teaching, and he told me to wait a minute while he turned off his television so that we could talk. This was before I realized that Chuck was a standout basketball player in college and that he was watching the NBA Finals. He never suggested that I wait until a commercial or come back another time. He acted as though talking to me about poetry was the most important thing on his mind. I mention this because I've seen Chuck extend a hand of friendship and offer his wisdom to so many students and staff, giving of himself completely to the GSE community. He always makes time to hear and to truly listen to others, offering encouragement and support in his quiet, witty, and deeply insightful way. As site director, I continue to cherish Chuck's mentorship and friendship and know that at any time I can seek his counsel and advice. Chuck carries the institutional memory of Governor's School East and often says, "Every summer is the same and every summer is different too." As site director, I also have the opportunity and pleasure of sitting in on Chuck's classes, learning about the world and humanity through poetry. Listening to him read and lead class discussions is illuminating and inspiring as he and his students closely examine a poem to discover its universal truth. Even though at Governor School we question everything, there is no question that Chuck Sullivan, in his 40 years of teaching at Governor School East, has been the master weaver of the fabric of our community, interlacing the threads of exploration, discovery, examination, questioning, expression, artistry, understanding, and connection. With endless love, immense admiration, and deep appreciation, we celebrate Chuck Sullivan today.
So thank you all for being here. Most importantly, Chuck, thank you for being here. Those of you that I haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Lee Connor. I'm the president of the Governor's School Foundation. And what we do at the foundation is raise money to support the Governor's School in two basic ways. One is to provide need-based scholarships for students who can't afford the $500 tuition. And while I would adamantly tell you that $500 for 5.5 weeks of Governor's School is the greatest bargain you will ever receive, it is still true that there are families in our state that can't afford that. And so that's a big part of what we do. And we also give money each summer to both campuses for enhancements and curriculum things ranging from field trips to new lab equipment, new band equipment, speakers, those kind of things. But that doesn't necessarily explain why I'm standing here right now. The reason I'm standing here right now, there's really two reasons. One is that when we heard that Chuck was going to be in his 40th year, we said that needs to be celebrated. Laura says, I've got that covered. And we said, well, that's great, but there's something we want to add to that. And I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to know a man named Jim Hart. Jim passed within the last year. Yeah, exactly. Jim was a wonderful soul and a saint of Governor's School in many, many ways that we could talk about for hours. But the short version is not only did Jim go to Governor's School, he organized the Alumni Association. He was the person who, without, there probably wouldn't be an Alumni Association, there may not be a foundation. And so to honor Jim, we created the Jim Hart Governor's School Champion Award. And it's only been given to a very handful of people who made tremendous contributions to the Governor's School, people who made just, whether they were on the side of the other faculty members, people like Joe and Lucy Milner, who were the directors at Governor's School West for so long. It's not something that you earn in a year. It's something that you earn through quite a long time of work. And I guess you've probably figured out by now that we have one of those to give out today, and who's going to get it. And he earned it probably decades ago, but we're going to give it to him today. And so I want to present the Jim Hart Award to Chuck Sullivan for his many, many contributions over 40 years. And so Chuck didn't know he was getting this award today. He obviously knew something was going on, but we held that little piece of information back from him. Right, there's always something going on, right? And it wouldn't be fun if there wasn't. But one thing we didn't hold back from him, and when we asked him about it, his response was that he wanted to be the first one to donate, was that at the foundation we're running a campaign right now called 40 for 40, $40 for 40 years. And when you go out in the lobby, you'll see flyers with some information about Chuck and some pledge envelopes. And I ask you to consider doing that because I was in math at Governor's School East way back in 1991. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just going to estimate that there's, I don't know, 200 people in this room. I could be off, but whatever. If there's 200 people, but I could be wrong. But let's say there's 200. That's probably low. If everybody gave $40, last I checked, that's $8,000. It costs $500 for somebody to come to governor's school. So if I have $8,000, that's 16 scholarships. Okay, 16 people who otherwise wouldn't get to come. It's a big thing and it's a big deal. And so I ask you to consider that. Everybody else is going to tell you all the wonderful things about Chuck, but I do want to tell you, if you go to our website, you'll see a video that Laura and her folks recorded with Chuck talking about governor's school, and it is one of the most inspiring. It just grabs you and it explains in 3 short minutes what these 5.5 weeks are about and why they're so impactful. I encourage all of you to go watch it. And one of the things he says in there, and I didn't take Latin, so I apologize if I mispronounce it, but non scale set vitae. And hopefully I didn't butcher that too badly, but not for school, but for life. That's what governor's school is. That's what Chuck is. That's what I hope all of us aspire to be. And so let's honor him with our gifts. You've already honored him with your presence today, and he honors all of us with all he's done for 40 years. So with that, I will turn it over to everybody else, and my apologies. I've got to leave and go be at Governor's School West, but I will watch everything. I know. We have our annual board meeting that starts at 4:15, so my apologies, but they're not bad folks, I promise. I'm an East guy too, but they're good folks too. We love them. And with that, I will turn it over to Laura and everybody who knows Chuck so well, and I'm going to watch on video later today. So thank you guys very much, and Chuck, thank you.
All right, next up, let's get through this quick, because you got things to do, people to see, whatever the term is. I'm Tom Wenton. I'm the coordinator of Governor's School, North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. Let's see, what else? State Board of Education. They run Governor's School. They administer Governor's School. They have since the beginning, and so they extend to you their greetings. So it's great to see everyone. Great to see Chuck. Great to see alumni who were here from last year. Alumni from last year? Woo-hoo! 5 years ago? Within 5 years? Yes, yes. Do we have anyone from 10 years ago? 20 years ago? Woohoo! 30 years ago? 40 years ago? Chuck. 50 years ago? Oh, yeah, I saw one of you. You weren't born then. Anyway, glad you're here. And so I'm the guy that does all the bureaucratic stuff behind the scenes during the year. We've got a massive office of 2, and we work on things throughout the year. And so signing off on payroll, signing off on checks, contracts, all that sort of stuff. And Chuck has been the one to mentor me. Yeah, I said it. Officially, I'm the employer, but really, I'm just a student, still trying to learn how to do this thing that we call Governor's School. Every step of the way, Chuck has been there to listen, reflect, guide, encourage me, just as if I was in his classroom. Now, in a Chuck way, I'm going to try to say something profound. It won't be that profound. It may just be a little bit insightful. Now, I've been with the North Carolina Governor's School since 2006. I've been at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction since 1998, and I'm just finishing my 30th year in public education overall. And I've met and I've worked with people from all over the country and the world in just about every field of education, from preschool through universities, special education through gifted, and everywhere in between. And no matter where I go, or the event I attend, or the school I visit, or the boss I have, there's always people who try to say profound, insightful things. And what I've learned is that there are two kinds of people who try to say profound things. Catch this. The first kind, and you'll notice this as you get out in the world. The first kind, they say something, but these are the people that are just expressing the ceiling of their knowledge. You know, teachers are amazing. Why? Well, they're just amazing. You know, poetry is important. Well, tell me more about it. Well, it's important. It's just important. Elaborate. Well, poetry is so important and amazing. That's the first kind. The second kind are the people that they express it here, but this is their base. This is the floor. This is the springboard that they're using to go into things that are far deeper, far higher, far broader than you or I understand. And it's refreshing. Guess what kind of Chuck is? Right? That base, that floor. He says that, you're going to hear that later, and you're going to see that base level of understanding. So poetry is important, right, Chuck? Poetry is important. But when you ask Chuck, he won't tell you just why. He'll tell you how. He'll tell you how it's the connective tissue of souls. He'll tell you how it adds to what we know about reality. And then he'll recite one of his favorite poems. And then he'll connect it to baseball. Or then he'll connect it to basketball or Marilyn Monroe. Or the flame of Governor School. You'll hear that. And he'll say it in a way that you, the non-poet, can get it. And make you connect with that inner poet you never knew that you were. And he'll say it humbly, and that he's still searching for more, and that he wants your help, and that he wants your insight and your ideas. And he'll leave you wanting more. Amazing. So, guess what kind of people you should gravitate to as you go out in the world? Right? Every year, 335 students are privileged to be at Governor School East, and they get to figure that out by getting to know Chuck Sullivan. So thank you, Chuck. Thank you for everything you've meant to me, to these students, to North Carolina, and to the North Carolina Governor School.
For lo these 39 years, I found Governor School to be this midsummer night's dream from which we wake to find a dance of disciplines, a song of life, and an incredible sense of community. In the briefest of times, like 5.5 weeks now, students are able to bond with each other, bond with the faculty, and bond with being here. And it's a bond which means we're connected. And Governor School is really about connections. No matter what the discipline may be, mathematicians can appreciate the way that dance goes into what their numbers do for them. Scientists can appreciate the precision of poetry, and poets can appreciate the imagination of scientists. It's just a marvelous, it's a marvelous fire, like the flame that we have that is a symbol of Governor School. And by the light of that flame, we're able to really see that in the celebration of the difference and the differences of ourselves, we really find out how we are so connected in so many ways. What is it that we share? Governor School is really about finding the different connections we have in our lives among disciplines, among each other, and also finally trying to, by the end of the summer, and by the end of the summer, all of us want to stay. But the children, as the nuns I grew up with used to call them, they want to stay. But part of the genius of Governor's School is that everybody leaves wanting more. And fortunately for the faculty, you can come back. But as I'm fond of saying, every summer for me, in the last 39 years, every summer is the same, but every summer is different too. And I think that the fact that the students who are here work with the idea that what they experience here is not just for the 5.5 brief weeks that we have, but it's something that will last them a lifetime. The motto that I give them for, like in Latin, is non scale sed vitae, which means not for school, but for life. And I've certainly kept up with lots and lots of students over the years, and look forward to keeping up with a lot more of them. And I think to maybe sum up the sense of community, I could quote from Jack Kerouac, who was one of my favorite novelists. In speaking of community, he said, "A tender consciousness, a realization among mortal companions whose presence together makes the event sacramental." And I feel that that's what happens here. We are ourselves, we are each other, and we are Governor's School.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Haston. I was a student here in poetry in 2016, and I am now one of the TACs for English along with Kimmery and Kirby. This poem is dedicated to Chuck. It did not have a name at the creation of the programs for tonight, but it is now called Wise Guy. It takes its first line from the first poem we ever read in Chuck's class called The Emperor of Ice Cream, which I'm sure Chuck will remember my pinpoint interpretation of. Call the roller of big cigars. I mean, Dr. T.J. Eckelberg with the... I mean, Kathy's sweetheart. I mean, the guy who laced up and balled out with the devil under street lights and lime lights and red tail lights, who won those golden high tops from death. Come on. And looked past the treetops, stretching his wholeness to snag at the tails of holy mist, and sinking back down, that skin crumpled lovingly to itself, all kept in touch. Who, with his sky-found tools, menacing with harmlessness, slips them weightless in the grooviest gaps of the skull, prying wide to rest open so the emotion, confettied and silken, streams forth. I mean old Blue Eyes, no, the one who croons in 10 tones a minute, who could teach Lenin a thing or two, John, that to war on for peace in the figments of revolution will leave you always mountainous. I mean the wise guy who taught me the weight of a word. I mean that ghastly Victorian count who appears in a glint to mock the cruel, a sneering hand cast up for the beckoning of all us who will become children once more when the flame lights anew. 40 days and 40 nights, I wish for 99. Love you, Chuck.
It is said that God loves stories, and that's why he made people. This is a poem, and it's a little girl's story. And this little girl is in a cage on the border in Texas. And this is part of her story. And it's called Fallen Moon, Fallen Stars. And the epigraph is from Rainer Maria Rilke that says, "Who, if I cried out among the angelic orders would hear me. Once upon a time, there is a little girl who lives in a little corner of her own little world with other little boys and girls in a big cage, a big, big cage, just a little north of the border, where high hopes have gone south, falling like orphaned arrows from the sky into the heart of Mother Earth. Outside the cage, the fool's gold badges burn as they patrol, brooding their control in the callous imperial fluorescence of her chain-link haunt, her home away from home, away from home, way away from home, where the guards give the children pipe cleaners and make child's play of showing them how to twist those stems just right and make handcuffs for their little wrists. These are the children of ice, who are held close and lied to closer and sworn to closest, that farthest from the truth, they have been deserted by their loved ones. And no matter how hard their little naked eyes would look, there is no lamp beside the golden door. And yet, for all this, the little girl's power is an uplifted torch. She daydreams at night and reclaims her name. Maria Elena, Maria Elena, Maria Elena. There are no windows here, only the rude, blank intimacy of the wall, just beyond the beyonds of the cage. In her corner of this world, she draws and colors the wall like a cave painting. This is the screen upon which she screams her dreams of making the unseen seen. This is where a square of light softens, rounds, and fans to that patch of meadowed wildflowers blooming in the moonlight beside the white house she left back in El Salvador. Never mind the blood on the floor. Then, in this jailed heart of things, she prays to the Virgin, Santa Maria, Madre de Dios, Santa Maria, Madre de Dios, Santa Maria, Madre de Dios. Maria Elena grows strong angel wings, and little as she is, she rises to a greatness and hovers above the sleeping mylar silver huddle of her barely blanketed brothers and sisters of other mothers. But then, coming back down to earth, her mother lost to her for now, for all she is allowed to know of the world beyond the cage. The sun rises in the west and sets in the east. The moon and the stars have all fallen to the ground, and all Maria Elena can see is heaven upside down.
My name is Mary Naver, and I am an English colleague of Chuck's and Area 1 coordinator. Currently teach English and also Area 3. Well, it was hard for me to put a brief speech together to talk about Chuck. Not only is there so much to talk about, but it's also difficult to put the words together to describe how much he means to me personally and professionally. To call him a dear friend is an understatement. I think of Chuck as family. He's been like a second father to me, a mentor, and of course a dear friend for over 25 years. Chuck has seen me through many celebrations and trials over the last 20 or more years. He has listened to my troubles and many joys. He performed the wedding ceremony for my oldest daughter and her husband in 2016, which meant so much to me and to them, of course. Now, I've been so grateful to have him as part of my life at home and at GSE. Chuck has spent many meals and hours with my family when he came to Kernersville or Laurinburg to visit or do residencies in our schools. Chuck has not only brought laughter, wisdom, and poetry to my life, but also to my family's. Chuck and I come from a similar background, both being from New York State, Irish and Catholic. He's gifted with an Irish wit that I deeply appreciate. We get each other, which has been a foundation for our ongoing friendship and kinship. I am grateful for every moment that we have had together at GSE, the laughter and sometimes the absurdity. Like when Bear and Chuck and I were trying to assemble the lamp that Chuck purchased from Walmart. The three of us, as intelligent as I thought we all were, collaborated on this lamp assembly adventure, okay? And I looked at it, and it didn't look right. The spiral light, you know, those LED bulbs, the spiral bulbs, was sticking out the top of the lampshade. Well, I knew that shouldn't be the case. So Chuck turns the light on, and it's jutting out of the top, you know, like a LED torch. I'm like, we are laughing so hard. We are in tears, and we are bending over in pain. And I said, that's not right. Chuck, what do you mean, honey? We are all laughing at the absurdity that is this simple task that somehow we all got very wrong. We fixed it. And in Bear fashion, Bear captured those wonderful moments for us with his camera. And those are the kinds of wonderful moments we have at GSC that are filled with the medicinal kind of laughter that erupts from the bottom of one's soul and is detoxifying. I get an emotional detox every summer. Regardless of his lamp assembly skills, Chuck is pretty impressive. He has a photographic memory, if you guys didn't know, and can write and speak impeccably about things he's passionate about, like GSC and poetry. And he sings. I can hear him singing in his dorm room late at night, more often than not, the Beatles. He is knowledgeable about art, politics, education, math, literature, contemporary issues, the Stones, the list goes on. He is a master of language. He uses his poetry and metaphor as a vehicle for reaching people on a deeply emotional level, about universal ideas, current issues, tragedies, philosophy, art, and elevators in original ways. And that is what makes him such a valuable part of GSC. He is all that Governor's School is meant to be. He shows us how we are still all intrinsically connected across areas, and as John Lennon said, across the universe.
But as the elevator is falling, don't, for the love of God, hold on to anything. All the trains are running on time. Well, I am overwhelmed in the best of all possible ways. And aside from being home, which I love to be at home with my sweetheart Kathy, and there in Charlotte with Ashley, Dane, little Rowan, and little Emmett, and Art and Maureen, and Jim, and Mike, and Jacob, and in Winston with Sam, and Seamus, who's here. They are with us today, and Seamus' brother Liam. This is home for me too, and I know it's like, it is, like I said in the video, it is that brief time, and that is truly part of the genius of Governor's School, about you want some more. And to see the students who came back today and sat in the poetry class and talked with you know, the current poetry class, who I love, as well as I love my 2 Area 3 classes too, and I love teaching Area 3. And it is such, besides the fact that Bear put that together, just seeing Bear, it gets to me. But Area 3, and instead of being in my room writing deathless verse that will alter and illuminate all across the universe, like rain into a paper cup, they whistle and they walk back across the universe. All right then, love, let me tell you about it. It's all good. It's all good. To be here, and what I owe to all of the students who have been at Governor's School, what I owe to all of the students who are here today, what I owe to my colleagues, those who are here and those who aren't here. I mean, that's what makes Governor's School great, all of us together. I have my part to do, and I do it, and I love it, and I put my whole heart into it. But it really is all of us working together. And being led by the fabulous Sister Laura, who really does get what it means to be here. And that kind of makes its way down to all of us. So I am incredibly lucky. That's a line in that Dylan song too. You know, I shot a man named Gray, took his wife to Italy. When she inherited $1 million, and when she died, it all came to me. I can't help it if I'm lucky. Okay. So see, this is like class. If any of my students would say, is this like class? Yeah. You know, this is what you get. This is just who I am. I'm sorry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I am so incredibly grateful. And that phrase, which is a phrase I love to use, and sometimes I use it ironically, but this time it's right on the money. This is just an embarrassment of riches. And all of you are caught up in being those riches. And I am a lucky man. And if there's one of the quotes that I've shared every summer with my classes applies to maybe this moment here, it's from T.S. Eliot's Little Gidding, where he says, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." Thank you all very much.
I'm glad that Chuck had a moment to just stand and take in how many of you came to honor and celebrate. Chuck, we showed up for you because we love you, and we showed up because we're a community. And you, as I said before, you're the master weaver of the fabric of our community. And we're eternally grateful for you. We have some letters of appreciation and some love notes and just some thoughts that we wanted to share with you. The basket's full, but if you missed putting yours in the basket, just drop it in Chuck's box near the office. We'll make sure that he hears from everyone that wants to share a message. Want to thank everyone who took part in putting the program together today so that we could give you this fine celebration, richly deserved. Want to thank, though, everyone that came to celebrate, some from very far and some from just across the quad at one of the residence halls. Want to thank all of you for being here, for being part of the Governor's School community as we celebrate Chuck. We're going to continue this celebration with a reception in the Johnson Rotunda. We are all welcome and invited, so I'll see you across the way. Congratulations, Chuck. We love you.